Hey guys, Luna here. I wanted to do a little video about how to kind of get out of a rut. I recently kind of just went through like just a moment last week where I just felt so depleted of like my energy and feeling as if I didn't really know how to move forward without falling back into like old patterns of like people pleasing and things of that sort. And so I kind of wanted to walk you through what I did to just feel a little bit better, a bit more myself and more grounded in my reality, because it was just like, again, one of those moments where it kind of pulled me back to like old patterns, and I needed to reestablish where I am, who I am, and how to move forward and attract the things that feel good to me and allow me to live just a generally more healthy life. So these are some of the things that I did. So first, one of the things I did was reached out to like a friend or family member. In my case, I reached out to my sister. I'm getting better at like talking to people when it gets to this point where it builds up so much that I have just like a really hard time releasing some emotions. So I reached out to someone that I felt like I could talk to and that could understand the specific feelings that I had in that moment. So that was like one of my first steps to kind of get through that hump. The other thing that I did was stopped, kind of put a boundary up for myself for things that I just genuinely didn't want to do. I sometimes get to a point where I either meet new people or like new friends, and I overcommit myself to things that, no like hard feelings or anything, but I just don't really want to do them. And I had gone into that pattern with overcommitting myself to people that I didn't really want to like necessarily hang out with in that moment, or maybe do that specific activity. And I kept doing that over and over again. So in a sense, I was like self-harming, kind of self-violating my own boundaries with myself and my intuition. So my intuition got a little bit foggy of like, what actually feels good and what am I doing just because I feel like I need to. So resetting those boundaries with myself, and then also verbalizing that with someone else or other people, maybe like certain plans that you just don't want to pursue and don't want to like do very much of. In my case, sometimes when it comes to dance, there are like different kinds of dance genres that I do, and there are moments and periods where I just genuinely don't want to do a specific dance because I'd rather do like a solo kind of dance instead of like partner dancing, because partner dancing obviously involves another person and I can be really sensitive when it comes to sharing that space with someone. So I have to set that boundary for myself. And then also just hanging out with people like too often for me. Like I can be more introverted. It can be just a little overstimulating when I need some downtime. And at the same time, there are people that kind of feel as if they take energy from me and not necessarily give me energy. And it's like just genuinely a mismatch. And I recognized that very much last week, where it just felt a bit uneven. So I need to reestablish, rebalance that energy within myself and then around me. So that was the second thing that I did. The other thing that I did was reconnect with things that I love and that I know that I love and that give me energy. So right after I had a call with like my friend or my sister or a family member, I ended up going to a dance class. Dance for me is so many things for me. It provides me a sense of community, provides me an outlet for creativity. It gives me a moment in which I can take care of my body and exercise, since it is pretty high intensity at times. And it also gives me a place where I can be, in a sense, like both active and passive when using my brain. So passive in the sense, like when I go to a studio, I'm learning a choreography that I didn't have to create, but I'm learning, right? So like passively, I'm learning something that I didn't have to create myself, but actively, obviously, I'm actively learning the routine and seeing how to apply it to my own body. So for me, this specific activity of dance, it covers all those things, which is just a very magical and like comforting experience for me, because pretty much every time I go to a class, I experience this and I feel as if there's like a weight lifted off me, and I feel so much more present because you kind of have to be. You can't really be thinking too much about other things unless you're just an exceptional dancer and you don't need to like really think too much about the routine. But and then genuinely, I just love performing. We end up doing videos at the end of the classes every time. And it's just so fun to be able to perform. I grew up performing since I was really little, and it's something that I'm very comfortable with in a lot of ways. And it gives me an outlet to kind of embody someone other than myself sometimes. So like this weekend when I went to my hip hop class, it was a bit more harsher and like a bit more masculine and like hard hitting. And that was actually super helpful in the moment because I think I felt a lot of frustration within my body. So releasing that through those kinds of moves were super helpful. I know in the past I've also really benefited from doing some exercise like kickboxing or even just like weightlifting. When I'm like using those muscles in a very intense way, it releases so much of that emotional weight that sometimes I carry with me. So that was the next thing that I did. The other thing that I did this weekend was help out a friend and just kind of act as support. I think that gives me a lot of energy, honestly, and I think I've noticed that over time. I have to watch it though, right? Because I can't be like overly people pleasing where I'm just giving and giving and giving a lot of energy and listening to people or like helping them with their problems and all that. But all to say, I helped a friend this weekend kind of explore some condo options and places for her to like live next, and I really enjoyed being that support for her. I feel like it was a really good balance of her understanding like what she wanted in a lot of ways, but then I was able to bring a lot to the table, having kind of gone through a similar experience in the past. What I could offer her was my experience and how maybe it could apply to her. So that in itself, I really love supporting friends and family, and that helped me feel a sense of like grounding in the present and also in the future, right? And seeing how I can help that friend. So that was lovely. And then after that, I ended up kind of regrouping. So after all those moments that helped me, I had a moment to myself where I could just kind of regroup and replenish in different ways, right? So replenish in quiet time, alone, either listening to like a podcast or listening to nothing at all, eating something, replenishing my body, having had worked out this week and then danced a lot. I need to replenish my body with things that sound good to me. I think this is something that I'm playing around with again. Just nutrition as a whole has been something I'm interested in, but sometimes I can get a little too specific and it can kind of take away some of the joy that comes with eating food and being able to share a meal with someone somewhere new. So kind of explored that a little bit, but so had a moment to myself. And then after that, I went out to dance again and did a different kind of dance. It was partner dancing, which for me, I really value time where I can be with someone close. What's so lovely about social dancing is that you get to dance with so many different people and kind of learn their way of moving and how you can work together to create something really fun and cool looking. So that was really a great exercise of improvisation and creativity that you can bounce off with certain people. And also just that human connection and the human touch is something I really value as well. And you get to have that and experience it so much in social dancing, especially West Coast swing. It's just such a lovely time when you have a partner that you can resonate with as strongly. So that was really lovely. And after that, I had kind of a hard boundary with myself. Okay, I need to leave at a certain time because sleep has been a priority for me lately. I haven't had the most sound sleep over the past little while, so I kind of had the hard boundary with myself, was honest with you know what, I need to just pull back a little bit. I enjoyed my time. Now it's time to rest and give myself the night to just replenish my body in that way and give my body time to recover and recuperate, so that when and if I want to do something today or this week, I feel as if my body is ready for that and more in tune with the intuition that helps me guard my energy and so on and so forth. So I hope some of this has helped you kind of reground yourself for anything in the future that might come up where you just kind of face a hard moment and you feel a little stuck on how to proceed. That stuck energy can really stay with you if it's not released in some way. So these are some of the ways that I found really helpful to help release just that stuck energy that needed a little bit more movement, and that will constantly need movement in the future. Just being human and having experiences, things come in, some things need to be released, some things you keep for yourself because they're helpful, some things you keep because you need to process, all that kind of stuff. But it was really helpful to have all those experiences back to back to help me come out of this funk of not feeling quite aligned and feeling a bit disconnected with myself and what I needed to feel genuinely at peace and just better overall and able to move forward with the things that I love and I would love to do in the future. So yeah, hopefully this felt helpful for you, and if there's any other ways in which you find helpful to stay grounded and to re-ground yourself, leave them in the comments. I'm sure it'll be really helpful for anyone else. I know I have learned just so much over the years through friends and through videos like this or so many other like books and all of that, but I love having a space like this just dedicated where you can kind of synthesize those findings to help others feel better as well, because I know we all go through ups and downs and it can be challenging when you feel as if you're not quite sure what the next step is for you. So yeah, let me know and I'll see you in the next one.